of Famer Scottie Pippen with his thoughts on the bubble, saying, quote, well, I'm going to be honest. It's not NBA basketball. It's not the hard grind. It's not the travel. It's not the fans. It's not the distractions. Really, to me, it's pickup basketball. It's going to the gym. Yeah, you already got your team. Y'all practicing together. Kendrick Perkins back here with us. Stephen A., do you agree or disagree with Scottie's comments?
I somewhat disagree with him, and I think that he's being disrespectful to his contemporaries. He did end his comments by saying he's enjoying it, it's entertaining, but I think it's being dismissive when he uses the words pickup basketball. Certainly these are different times. They're not what you customarily have to deal with. He was absolutely right in pointing out the absence of fans, the inability to travel, things of that nature, how you get to sleep in your same bed. You don't have to work in hostile confines, you know, the noise, the crowd, the adrenaline. Those things are accurate, but we all understand the times that we're living in. And even though times are different, let's not take away from the great basketball that we have seen. It's not pickup basketball. It's organized basketball being played by professionals who've shown up and have made tremendous sacrifices to be there. And knowing that if you lose, you'd go home, yet seeing the amount of competitive matchups that we have seen, I think it's an opportunity and almost a mandate that we pay tribute to what we have seen from these players and these coaches. Denver, that was not a pickup team. Utah and Houston and L.A., both L.A. teams, even though they lost. Luka Doncic in Dallas, what we've seen in the Eastern Conference with Boston and Toronto and Miami, the list goes on and on. So I would say Scottie Pippen, I respectfully, he's a six-time champion. Jordan wouldn't have those titles if it were not for him. Mad respect and love for Scottie Pippen, but I respectfully disagree with how he has categorized these games. I don't agree with him at all.
I agree with Scottie Pippen. I think he's right to point out the differences. Forget about the use of the word pickup if you consider it disrespectful. He's describing it, right? And he's right. There are differences between this and a normal season. But is this harder or easier? In other words, the normal season has a certain kind of grind. This had a different kind of grind in the bubble that took a different kind of toll that he wouldn't know about because he hasn't experienced it. Actually, the players in the bubble, most of them have experienced both. And they can tell you what's different about it or what's harder about one or another. Or maybe one or another is actually harder, right? All things considered, according to the opinion of some. And those opinions may vary. But what he's describing sounds to me to be a fair way to describe things. Does that take away from the winner of the championship? No. Because the winner of the championship, everyone's going through the same thing, right? And even if he wants to argue or someone wants to argue, these conditions select out a different winner than would ordinarily be the case, well then, okay, fine. Like, you know, survival of the best adapted to this situation. Fine. But let me ask you something. Does it seem like there would be other teams in the finals right now? No. In fact, Stephen A., you picked Miami. I think you'd have picked them whether or not there was a bubble, as did you, Perk, to come out of the East. And Lakers out of the West, you also picked them. And I don't think that had to do with a bubble. So if we're, in fact, getting the same teams we would get otherwise, and everyone's subjected to the same thing, then Scottie might be making a legitimate point. But in the end, it didn't have an effect on the who's playing in this game or in these games.
Well, Max, no, he's not. No, he's not. And you're wrong for siding with him. And he's being disrespectful. I got much love for and respect for Scottie Pippen. He's a top 50 greatest player of all time, but he's dead wrong for this. People sacrificed a lot to make this bubble happen, and he's disrespecting those people. People left their families during the pandemic, during the time where people were dying, to go down there and work and play the game of basketball.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.